Hey everybody, welcome back to Tavern Talks. Today has been a fun one. I've had tech issues for like the last half hour. It's been great. Trust me, it's not been a good way to start, but we did get to know our guest a little bit more, which that's always a plus. Tonight we have once again another guest for our interview, and we're gonna hopefully not dive down any too dangerous rabbit holes tonight, but we'll see.
Oh, challenge accepted. Let's
All
go.
right, there we go. See, so that's what I have to do, is just challenge people, and they'll start doing that. So, but yeah, I'm a little flustered because I've been fighting tech for the last like 25 minutes. So I'm gonna let Chuck kind of start the show off.
You're doing what?
Yeah, you get to start the show. See?
Oh my
Hacha.
goodness. Ugh. I don't want this co-host job anymore. I quit.
Surprise, this is my show now.
No. So yeah, like you said, welcome to Tavern Talks. We are here with our lovely guest. If you would love to just introduce yourself for us.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I am Kat the Dungeon Mom. I am a content creator, parent, educator, aspiring social worker, and all around absolute fucking nerd. And I'm really excited to be here and talk about weird stuff. And apparently go down weirder rabbit holes. And I couldn't be more excited. So thanks for having me out, guys.
Absolutely, it's definitely fun, and we always like having new guests because something new always is learned, right? And you being a social worker and an educator, I'm sure we're gonna pick up a couple new tricks that we haven't even thought of yet.
Cool.
So, what type of we're already starting off the flat.
Words are so hard.
They
It's
are.
fine.
Very, very hard.
Yeah, woo, telling you. So, what type of TTRPGs do you enjoy playing?
Yes.
Okay.
I started, and I feel bad because I was doing one of these chats with a different channel, and I was like, "Oh, I started out with D&D like everybody else," but that is incorrect. I lied to this person, and I feel terrible.
Hey, me too.
I started out. I can't remember if it was World of Darkness or Monster or Vampire the Masquerade, but it was definitely a vampire werewolf, or it might have even been. Oh God!
So let me ask you this question, because this will help me, because I started around that same time.
Okay.
Was this pre, like early 2000s or later?
Oh no, this was like 2018.
Okay, so that could be either then at that point.
Yeah. It might have been not. I want to say Blade Runner, but I know that's wrong.
Blaze in the Dark.
Shadowrun?
No. It's something Runner.
I mean, Blade Runner is a game.
It's I'll think of it later. There's a board game of it as well, which I know doesn't help because almost all the TTRPGs have board games now. But essentially we were like living in a world where there were like vampire and werewolf cults, and we were all, I think, normal people. Shadowrun. Thank you, chat.
Shadowrun.
Yes.
What's Shadowrun?
Yeah.
Did you?
Chuck says Shadowrun.
Aww.
Words are hard.
Tonight.
Yeah, I think it was Shadowrun. And it was one of those things of, it was just a bunch of us going over to a friend's house. Our forever GM, we had, I think, a baked potato bar where we just brought a bunch of weird stuff over to top a baked potato. We played Shadowrun for like 9 hours, and it was great. And then we never played again. And then COVID happened, and the same forever DM and his wife were like, "Hey, do you want to play D&D over like Discord or Zoom?" I think it was Zoom at that point. And my spouse and I were like, "Yeah, sure." And we started watching Dimension 20 to learn the rules because we both have ADHD. And reading the book was absolutely not going to happen. And yeah, that was it. I was absolutely hooked. So I've played those two. I mostly run Cypher System now. I'm partnered with Monty Cook Games on a lot of the projects I'm doing. I'm also on a Monster Hearts 2 podcast, which is wildly different. I've played some Delta Green. I've played some Call of Cthulhu. So I like just I don't know. I just like games. They're
Yeah.
just, it's just, let's just fucking play games, man.
Games are fun.
I can't say anything because I was kind of the same way. I started out with World of Darkness, although I started out, like I
Okay.
said, in
Back in the day.
before it was ran by Renegade, which
Back
is
in the
scary.
day. Yeah.
Um, back when White Wolf still controlled it.
Oh
So,
boy.
yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah, back in my
Right.
God, please don't tell that to me.
So I just got back from Dragon Con, and where I got
Jealous.
to meet, yeah, it was a time, let me tell you. But I got to meet an online friend in Meat Space, and her husband, she told me today, it was like, Kat is the most millennial I've ever met in my life. And I was like, I'm so honored. Uh, so the whole back in my day, like, kids don't think I'm cool. Kids didn't think I was cool when I was a kid.
Yes.
So I wear that as a badge of pride that I am aggressively of my time.
Yep. Oh, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. When I checked, because we're getting ready to start another project because we're crazy like that over here, and
I know the feeling.
we're starting a World of Darkness miniseries here in the next month, and we're
Fun.
blending Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse, and I started going through some of the character sheets to get ready, and it doesn't look like they changed too much from when I played. So at least there's that.
That's
somewhat,
good.
somewhat remember the game.
Yeah.
So
I remember so my the first time I tried my hand at DMing was 5e. And it was a family game, so it was my spouse, my brother-in-law, and some of his kids, and my father-in-law, who hasn't played since I think probably Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and he was like, "Oh, this is completely different."
Chuck can tell
But
you about that.
it was really fun to be like, "Hey, F it, like we're just gonna whatever happens happens, and if things are different, we'll just roll with it. The rules are guidelines. It says so in the book. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
it's
completely agree. But I really like that quote. So we're gonna pin that one for a couple
yeah.
minutes. So yeah. So how did you feel with all those different age groups and experience levels? The difference that they were seeing between 5e and AD&D.
I It was really fun. So obviously, so my father-in-law had played, back in the 80s.
Mm.
My spouse and I had been playing 5e, and then my brother-in-law and his kids were brand new.
Oh,
Or like my brother-in-law like knew some stuff, but we were essentially, teaching them everything right out of the box. And I loved it because I'm a teacher, I'm an educator at heart. It's who I am as a person. Uh, but it was just really fun to be like, friends, we're just going to tell a story. I have been an acting and improv teacher for years, in addition to all the other weird shit I do. And so the ability to just be like, hey guys, we're just going to tell a story. It's going to get weird and we're going to figure it out together. I don't know any more than you do, and we're gonna find a path forward that works for all of us. It's a really fun way to approach games, right? Like, I see all the time people being like, "Hey, what are your best tips for a new GM? What are your best tips for a new GM?" And it's like, literally just don't be adversarial. Like, you're telling the story together. It's not you telling a story to your players. It's all of you collaborating to piece together a narrative that is satisfying for all of you. You're all playing a game.
absolutely.
And it doesn't have to make sense. It helps if it makes sense. But like, you're there for a good time, not a long time. Just have fun.
Yeah, I think we have a very broad range of that here
Mhm.
because we do a lot of stream games, but we also have home games. Home games are definitely much more at that level of, hey, we're just telling a story and we're just having a good time.
Yes.
So I completely agree. Stream games can do that, but it's a lot more difficult because you're trying to prep things that you're ready to do to show off and things like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, I just wrapped my first stream game, and
congrats.
thank you. I didn't die. um, but it was definitely a lot of extra pressure to be like, oh no, like I have to be consistent with the lore and it has to sort of make sense.
Yeah.
But it was also so fulfilling and so fun, and I lucked out and just had the greatest players in the world fall into my lap. And I'm so sad it's over, but I'm also so excited that I have like time again.
So how long did this go?
We started at the beginning of April, and we finished filming. We were live streaming for the first like 2/3 of it, and then schedules got funky and convention season started. So we did pre-shoot the end, and that I think we have 3 more weeks
Nice.
of streams.
That's awesome.
But the story is done and wrapped, and I sobbed my eyes out because this project was my baby. But it was really deeply gratifying to go from this concept to a finished product, and it looks nothing like I originally conceived of it, and I mean that in the absolute best way.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I even told my players, I was like, I could not have predicted all of the ways that you took this and ran with it, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome.
Yeah. Do
I'm ready for
you
that.
do you want to share some of the like twists and turns that you weren't expecting and how those changed things?
Yeah, so I did it to myself. Um, One of my players was my dear friend Juicy Garland, who bills themselves as the original TTRPG drag queen. And we worked together on the Monster Hearts 2 podcast, All Our Faults. And I was like, hey, do you want to come play a traumatized child?
Oh,
To
that
which
they
to which Juicy was like, absolutely. And so it's so fun because I've always known them as like a very like playing very adult characters, playing very like sexualized, very dark characters, and to to see Juicy playing just like a normal preteen boy, like was so lovely. So many of the clips from our show are Juicy saying something completely unhinged and making me absolutely break character. One of my favorites, and I cannot do this story justice. I'm in character as like the big bad, describing Rapunzel, my rival fairy tale princess. And I say, oh, you'll recognize her by her long golden hair. And without missing a beat, with a marshmallow stuffed in his mouth, Tommy, Juicy's character, goes, oh, she's a horse. And I was just like, how do I
how do you
recover
recover from this?
uh and that really kind of set the stage for like this dark like tale of grieving children and the paranormal investigators trying to save them, being absolutely deeply unhinged in a way that was completely necessary, because in good storytelling it can't be all doom and gloom all the time. You have to have those pinpricks of hope, and so knowing that I could rely on my players to provide that was a huge relief, and let me be able to be like, oh, I can just like absolutely dunk on these people and they're gonna cope, and it's gonna be great. I had Anna Maeve of Bloom and Blight. Oh, that's not the name of their like publishing. Oh gosh, Dareful Archives. That's the name of their brand. I had Anna Maeve as a player, and I didn't peg her as like a power gamer, but she comes in at the end of the season once the characters have leveled up quite a bit, and she built her character to essentially be able to rival the GM's ability with like intrusions and shaping the world. And I was just like, what the fuck, Monty Cook? Like, why would you write your game to absolutely destroy me like this? And it was really fun to have to balance like, well, this was supposed to be like an unwinnable fight that you are now like trouncing me easily. Cool. There was another moment where I had all of the kids like suspended on a bridge, and the paranormal investigators are on like the other side, and the combatants, the big bads, are between them. And it's like, okay, you can't like knock down the bridge because the kids are on there, and one of the kids on the bridge has a lot of trauma around like drowning in water. Like, so you gotta like make it work. And then Juicy Garland as Tommy comes in and turns the whole bridge into a fucking water slide. And I was just like, this was my whole plan for the stream tonight, dudes. Like, cool. But it was delightful. It kept me on my toes in such a really fun way. And it was just really exciting to be able to do that and trust that it was like kosher, that everyone was going to come out the other side. Even on nights where I made them sob their eyes out and like tortured their characters, that we all like came out the other side. Like, I love you guys so much and I love doing this project with you. And it was really lovely.
That's awesome. I think one thing that I've learned over the years is that, you know, your job is to make the players have a good time. The players then have the opportunity to make the audience have a good time, because that seems to be the case in many cases.
Yeah. And watching them have a good time is me having a good time. Right, exactly. Being like watching them enjoy the sandbox that I put together for them is absolutely delightful.
Yep. So I think we've answered two of the questions that I normally ask, which is how did you start getting into TTRPGs and when did you become a game master? Both of those I think were answered in a very off-the-wall way of answering it, but we did it both.
Yeah, we did.
The third one, though, is what kept you involved with TTRPGs? What was the thing that caught your eye or was the interest point that said, this isn't just a game I'm going to play once, this is a game I want to continue to play?
So for me, it was a combination of getting into actual plays. So Dimension 20, NADPOD, Bloomin' Blight, The Heart is a Dungeon. And also I was already into like board game conventions. So my spouse and their family are big board gamers. I wish I had a photo to show you. My entire basement is dedicated to board games. It's a problem. I guarantee you that half of my like home insurance cost is insuring those board games. But so we were already, because they're expensive. It's an investment. Because we have Frosthaven and Gloomhaven and like, you know, some of the big ones.
I know those two. Goodness.
Yeah. What's the big? Oh, Twilight Imperium. We have like we've got the heavy hitters, and then, you know, 1,000 other ones that some of them are still in their wrapping. Because who has time? Being a board gamer is very much like being a book, like a reader. Like you collect more than you could ever possibly like take in.
Right.
And it's just like this is what brings me joy, is just having the option to do a thing that I'm probably never gonna do.
Yeah, it's satisfying to like, I could play that, but I don't know when.
I don't know.
But I could.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I'm gonna have time. And when am I going to have 9 players for the next 6.5 months? Like,
oh man, yeah. No, that's real.
So long.
Oh yeah, and so my spouse and I have been going through, and I mean, we've been playing for like 3 years, and we still haven't completed our campaign. Like, we're still working on it. But it's fun and it's a good time. But so I was already like dialed into Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio, is my like home convention. And then that stepped me up to Gen Con in Indianapolis, which this past year, I had the opportunity to present a panel called Adventures in Parenting, Raising the Next Generation of Nerds. And it sold out, which blew my fucking mind.
There you go.
And so I will be presenting it again at Gamehole Con. And I have submitted it to PAX U. I have not heard back yet.
Nothing has been heard back. I've got 3 different things at PAX U, and nothing has been heard back yet. So
I saw that some of the creator badges have been sort of doled out. So hopefully soon. But fingers crossed that'll get to happen. But doing a panel at the biggest board game convention in the country. and selling it out really was one of those things of I can die happy. Speaking of dying, is that cat okay?
The cat is fine. He's just
Okay,
kind of
just
bum.
checking.
That's yeah. That's just his normal cry for attention.
This is
Okay.
normal cry for attention. Yeah.
My cry for attention sounds similar, so I just
He's just literally standing at the doorway of my office and just crying.
Father,
Oh,
release me.
I think his dad's not home.
No, his dad's upstairs.
Oh no,
No,
silly kitty.
that's
Oh,
that's
goodness.
my son's cat.
Aw,
So I don't know why he's down
So he's
here.
calling for grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandpa, I'm
Go
sure.
Go find your dad. Go. There we go. He had to come in and say hi first. Apparently, is what it
We
was.
sure did.
Make his presence known.
Uh huh. Yep. Yeah. So you were at Gen Con this year?
I was, yeah.
Awesome. So we did run into each other somehow, just maybe not at the exact moment.
Yeah.
Because I had met Juicy at Gen Con this year.
Okay.
So
Amazing,
for the first
amazing.
time.
Did you go to the show with Iffy Wadiwe on Wednesday night?
No.
Okay, there was a fundraiser for RAIN and Gender Nexus that Juicy and Iffy Wadiwe headlined,
Mhm.
and I was a part of that. Now that was very fun. Juicy did like a drag lip sync number, and then brought out me, Sam Siam, and Versace to do a little improv skit of 3 adventurers applying for a new adventuring party. That was extremely fun and a really, really great way to kick off Gen Con this year.
Yeah. No, I ran into them on Saturday at Marriott. I think it was.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Normally that's not the and Gen Con felt very strange this year because the JW was closed down, so
Yeah,
nobody knew where we were going every night, which was the
Yeah.
weirdest thing in the world. That's where I met Juicy and a whole bunch of other creators that are
Yeah.
roaming around.
Juicy always gets invited to the cool parties and then tells me about it later. I'm just like, that's great. I'm old.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no.
Um,
Listen, I respect the fact that Juicy is much cooler than I have ever been and will ever be, and that is absolutely fine with me. I'm the mom friend, and they're the cool young one who goes out and makes decisions.
makes decisions. Yeah, I'm just a cat. I just roam the entirety of the conventions.
Yeah, you do.
I do. It's bad.
See, and I'm a working breed. I need a job. So I ran 34 hours of gaming for Monty Cook Games during Gen Con on top of my panel that I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't free roam. It's not good for me.
Yeah, I realized it wasn't good for me when like my feet were starting to hurt, my legs would hurt, and I'm like, okay, this is once, because that's the issue, right? Is when you get to conventions like that, when you free roam so much that you don't want to slow down, so you just kind of drone until you stop, and then when you stop, everything hurts.
Well, and like my whole thing is I am the queen of FOMO. And so instead of stopping when I find something interesting, I'm just like, oh, but what if there's something else? And then I end up doing nothing. And I've wasted the whole weekend. So it's like, no, I'm going to give myself a job. I'm going to have like things I'm going to do. And it'll be fine. And it works out well.
What games do you prefer running for Monty Cook?
All of the above. So that sounds like such a cop out, but at this point I have run pretty much everything. So I started out last Gen Con running No Thank You Evil, which is their kids game. That was how I really kind of got into Monty Cook Games. And then because I'm an improv nerd, I started running Stealing Stories for the Devil, which is a fully improvised game. You are
I've heard of that one.
Oh, it's listen. If you like futurism and heists, this is your game. It is fully improvised, so the first like act of the game is the game runner and the players creating this heist. Essentially, the players are what are called liars, and they because they can lie to reality. Either
Oh.
they're either cybernetically enhanced, or they have lived generations long enough that they have sort of naturally evolved the ability to do this thing. And so there are three different kinds of liars. You can lie to time, so you can change past events. You can lie to people, or you can lie to places and objects. And it's a really interesting game. And so there's these pockets of unreality um, that the players have to go into and sort of dispel by removing what is called the key object that is causing these areas of instability. And if you get the deluxe edition of the game, which is what I have, it comes with a stack probably that thick of double-sided schematics for different places you can do this heist. So like a high-rise apartment building, a stadium, a shopping mall, an airplane. Like it's really, really fun. Monte Cook games are very much narratively driven, which is absolutely my vibe.
Forte.
Yeah. And so similarly, this year I ran a bunch of Devil's Dandy Dogs, which is kind of the same idea. The game runner and the players work together to develop a story of whose soul is being fetched, what the deal was they made with the devil for their soul, and where they might be. And you do that using a tarot inspired art deck. And then the game is the dogs have come back to the devil after successfully fetching a soul, and they are simply telling the devil the story of how the soul fetch went. And it's really cute. And I have found that players immediately get into it. Like running at Gen Con this year, almost every single table, there was someone who would like wag their tail as a dog. And it was just really cute. Like people just want to be good boys. And it's really lovely. And then Cipher System. I've run a shitload of Cipher System. That's what my actual play was. Specifically, Magnus Archives, based on the horror podcast of the same name. And then We Are All Mad Here, which is mental health focused, but based in like fairy tales. So that was the grieving children, and then Magnus Archives was the paranormal investigators.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it's all Monte Cook all the time over here.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I got into looking at it when I looked at No Thank You Evil, because I was in the same boat. At the time, I had an 8-year-old, and I was kind of like, what do I get him? I didn't dive down on it. I just said, hey, we're going to pick up D&D and see if it works first. And it did, surprisingly. I get lucky and have the kid that actually is like, yeah, well, I'm going to learn it all. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Got it. Excellent.
And that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And some kids are like that. And then there are other kids who are like, I need training wheels.
Right.
And so I really like No Thank You Evil. I think it's a good gateway. I think it's really simple to learn. But if you are a parent or a caregiver or educator or whatever who has young people in your life that you want to get into TTRPGs, you're going to Google TTRPG Kids, either on Blue Sky or on the web. It's run by Steph Campbell. And they both write games for kids and they review games, TTRPGs for young people. And they actually I partnered with them for my parenting panel at Gen Con this year. We're partnering up again for Gamehole and PAX U. And they're a lovely human who has dedicated a lot of time to, going through and kind of parsing through all of these options. And they have a giant master list on their website of different TTRPGs available for kids.
I'm gonna drop that up there. So for our chat. We're gonna drop that in the channel so everybody can
Awesome.
check that out.
Yeah,
Make sure that's
I know.
there.
I know my kid likes the training wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's totally fine.
Oh, yeah, great.
And like even for parents, the thing I love so much about No Thank You Evil, and I talk about that because that's the game I know the best. It's just like it is designed to be easy for the kid players and also the adults running the game, but it's also designed to be easy to hand over once those kids age up and get to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and want to run their own games.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's meant to be handed over as a like, Simba, this is your
You
kingdom
get the
now.
mantle now. You enjoy it.
Yeah.
Dad's going back to the main game.
Yes, correct.
Now, I do have to ask, what are your thoughts on the Magnus Archives? Because I've listened to the podcast. I love the podcast. I just saw that there was a game. I was like, oh, shit.
So context. I binged the Magnus Archives last October, November, December because I had met the Monty Cook Games crew at Gen Con last year running games for them. And I had said, hey, I really love you guys. Like they were very good to me during my time running games for them. And I was like, I would absolutely love to work with you more. And they were like, funny story, we're about to release an application for a grant program for people to run Cypher System products. And I was like, great. So they released this grant and I look at the application and they're like, all right, here's what we want. And we want it to support like a currently available product. And this was right before they were going to drop the Magnus Archives role-playing game.
Right.
And I was like, all right, that's what I want to apply to run. So I was like, well, I guess that means I got to listen to the podcast. So I binge this podcast. I'm listening to it at like 1.8 speed, like just trying to like blaze through it. I don't get all the way through, but I get into it enough that I'm able to like, okay, here's how this game is going to go. Submit my application. I finished the podcast the week before Christmas. I had picked up a holiday job delivering packages for UPS. Listening to Mag 200, had to pull over the car and sob at "You Promised Me, You Bastard." Destroyed me. So I get my copy of the Magnus Archives role-playing game. I get the I'm granted the grant, and I'm like, shit, I've written a check I now have to cash. I actually have to do this thing. So now I have to learn this. I like the Magnus Archives role-playing game. I appreciate what Monty Cook is trying to do with horror mode and like discouraging newer characters from engaging with the horrors because they will very quickly accumulate like debuffs. I almost immediately abandoned that mechanic in my stream. Sorry, Monty Cook, it just didn't work for me. But otherwise, I love it. I love having the stats for all of the main characters. And I love, again, Monty Cook games are very narratively driven, and I loved how deeply reverent the whole book was to the original source material. Like you could tell that Monty deeply like loved and appreciated the Magnus Archives. He worked with Johnny Sims and Alex Newell on the game, and we've all seen games that are like meant to be something, but are sort of less thorough and less intentional in the way they try to do mechanics. And it seemed like Monty Cook really tried to like honor the original source material. I also know because I'm a Monty Cook simp, and it's fine, I don't need money. We're getting very soon even updated materials. So there's a whole new set of adventures being published on backer kit, a whole new like swath of ciphers. So I enjoy it. I also understand people who are less keen on it. I know one big criticism that Monty Cook Games gets as a whole is like, oh, it's all the same system, just reskinned. And yeah,
Okay,
that's
that's part of
kind
the
of
point.
yeah, that's kind of the point, right? Like every different version gets its own like special mechanics. Like Magnus Archives gets horror mode, but it's meant to be such that you can walk in and go, okay, I've played Numenera, I've played Gunslinger Knights, so I kind of can. This is already kind of accessible to me.
Right.
And I like that as someone who, again, has ADHD and is not going to read the book.
And we get that experience a lot. Chuck currently runs Power Rangers, which is Renegade Games system, SS20 system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you've got Power Rangers, you've got G.I. Joe, you've got Transformer, My Little Pony. They're all built onto the same system.
Yeah.
But they're completely different.
Yeah.
Same thing. Free League Games runs a lot of their stuff through their own Zero system.
Yeah. Powered by the Apocalypse.
Powered by the Apocalypse, Morkborg, all of it. When people say, "Oh, this is just a reskin," like, if we're really going to go down that rabbit hole, like,
yeah,
look at what Dungeons and Dragons has done for the last 15 years.
Right.
I mean, just say it. Like, I'll be the one to say
no, that's
it.
Real.
You can...
No. Oh no, you're right, and you should say it.
Oh.
So, that's my point on it. Is like if somebody's going to criticize you on that, it's like everybody has done that. That's part of the point.
And like, don't get me wrong, if you're going to sit down and read the book and learn 15 different systems, Godspeed, could not be me. I would die. There's not that much space in my brain. No, I have to learn by playing 100%. Like, I have Yaziba's Bed and Breakfast downstairs on my bookshelf, still in its plastic wrap, because I'm like, I'm not going to read. It's a beautiful book. I'm not going to read it.
What's it called?
Yaziba's Bed and Breakfast. My understanding is that the players play an ever-rotating cast of guests at this magical bed and breakfast, and so you will play a character until its arc is like finished, and then you pick up a different character. And so it's sort of, I guess, a mashup between a TTRPG and a legacy board game. And it sounds fascinating. But again, reading.
Yeah.
It's a thick book. It's beautiful. It's stunning. I bought it immediately when I found out it existed. Someone else got to read that shit.
Yeah, I've stepped into those danger holes here. I've got
it's blurred, but there's a lot of books.
There's a lot of books there. They're all different books. That's the downfall.
Yeah.
Because like we're learning.
They're all just so pretty.
Like I'm learning Daggerheart right now.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow Dark,
One Ring, Werewolf,
mm-hmm.
Power Rangers. I mean, what else do we got in the cooker?
One that we can't say.
One we can't say right now. Yeah.
Fancy.
Maybe another one in the pipe.
Yeah, but that's a 5e supplement.
Fair.
So that's different. It's not. I also
doesn't count.
Yeah, it's 5e. I mean, I have this beautiful book that I got that is still in the wrapping paper. I'm gonna shout it out because of my good friends over there at Chaosium, Pendragon's beautiful leather-bound.
I just
opus.
Picked up. So I volunteered at Origins Game Fair this year. And they have like a post-con like volunteer appreciation party where they just give you a shitload of swag. And one of the things I got was a Pendragon starter set.
Nice. I was handed mine at GaryCon this year by Chaosium, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to learn this so you can run games for us." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Who's gonna teach me?" They're like, "That's the point." And I was like,
That's a you problem,
that's a
buddy.
you problem.
You're gonna teach you.
Yeah,
Right?
I might try to go to Game Hall and get some information.
Yeah.
You don't know
I will be
how many.
living
You
in the
know
Monte
how
Cristo.
many people have asked me to go to Game Hall. I'm like, a company needs to pick me up. I can't go this one by myself. I go to way
Yeah.
too many of them by myself.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I like I said, I'm a working breed. I need a job, which is very convenient because people are very willing to like get buy your badge and buy your hotel if you do a certain amount of work for them. So it all works out.
Yep, we'll see if it comes up. The other thing I'm running into right now is we have a big trip for another outside of TTRPGs coming up at the beginning of October, and
Fun.
that means that I only have like 2 weeks between that one and Game Hall Con, and that's that's a little
You
bit.
hear him go boo hoo.
Yeah,
I do
it's
say boo hoo. Like that's
no, it's a lot.
I still have a full-time job, and that job does not have a lot of PTO right now because of that trip.
Yeah,
That's what 7-10 days away.
6.
6. It's more than
Well,
that.
unless you're taking that Monday, then it's 7.
For where we're going, I'm definitely taking that Monday.
Nah, man, going to work with jet lag.
It's fine.
Yeah. So we're leaving on the 26th, and we won't be back until the 6th. So I mean, it's a big trip. But yeah, my local con is the week after Game Hall, and several people have told me that they need more PTO. Yeah, I think everybody needs more PTO.
Everybody needs more PTO.
Yeah.
I need more PTO.
Yes.
You do need more PTO. You're gonna get a ton of it here in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not gonna be PTO though.
It's not gonna be PTO though.
It's gonna be O.
It's just gonna be O. Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Chuck's gonna be running games for a while here soon. So
Yay!
yeah. Get you on
We
start
love
playing games and get you.
It might be all I do for a while.
Hey, it's a supplement.
I keep saying I'm gonna like start running on Start Playing, and I just keep not doing it.
But downfall is when do you have time if you are doing streams and you're doing podcasts and things like that. So that's the issue. Finding a job with 52 weeks a year of PTO.
It's called retirement.
Yeah, that's called retirement.
Right.
Not there yet. Or you find those random jobs. They're like, oh yeah, you have unlimited PTO as long as you don't abuse it. I'm like, yeah, I need to find that job like so badly.
Yeah, I'll abuse the shit out of it. Let's be so clear. No, I'm actually I'm teaching myself to do portrait photography
Nice.
so that I can, make my own schedule a little bit more better.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that one. Because this is not a job this is not a position that can, the
No.
9 to 5 is not the case in this world.
We're doing it for love.
Absolutely.
That's for damn sure.
Chuck.
All right, let's get this back on track.
All right, let's get back on track. Like I
There's a
said,
track? What?
No, there's not.
Hinges? I've never met a hinge I liked. It's fine.
Let's see. Okay, we are not there yet. I was hoping we didn't already step into happy hour because the questions will start appearing hopefully. So get your questions ready because we're gonna get ready to drop into happy hour here in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Let's see. So we've done Monty Cook. We've done. Well, I didn't actually ask you the question. Is what was the adventure that you told for that you just finalized?
So it was called Tender Hollow, and it was it was a duology, both running in the Cypher system. There was a set of 4 young people at a grief summer camp. So they had all recently lost someone close to them, who get sort of swept away into a fantastical fairy tale land. And they have to sort of face their demons, their trials, their tribulations, their trauma, and try to survive long enough to either save themselves or be saved. And then the other half of the duology was, so that was the We Are All Mad Here fairy tale story. And then there's the Magnus Archives. We set it in Canada. So it was in Halifax because I didn't want to fuck with United States bullshit at the time. and I stand by that choice. Um, and so they were all the four investigators there were charged with, rescuing these children while also not stepping on their autonomy. And it was a really interesting. My goal with it was to focus on telling stories about what it is like to be a parent, a caregiver, an educator, someone who cares about young people, and the difficulty of stewarding them through difficult times. When I was conceiving of this, my father had just passed away. I am the youngest of three children and somehow have been responsible for all of the estate stuff. I was my dad's primary caregiver when he was alive. And I had then, just turned 3-year-old. And so that was a big sort of idea in my life, was like, kind of, how do you help someone going through this, and when they have the complication of being so young. And I put that casting call out into the world and got an obscene response. I was stunned at how many people wanted to be a part of this. And we ended up being able to tell a really beautiful story together, because if you know the Magnus Archives, it is based around, one thing that you fear. What is your greatest fear? And so, like, we had to be really intentional and overt with our safety tools and with our lines and veils, but we still went into some horrific, scary places. But because we had talked about all of that, because we had said, like, these are where the lines are, this is what I need to feel safe, we were able to do that. Spoiler, I'll spoiler tag for anybody who might want to go watch it. Towards the end of the series, we see one of the characters' young siblings be drowned by their mother, which is an intense scene. And the whole time I was doing it, I was just like, the whole time I was narrating it as this girl and her, like, adult counterpart were watching this happen. I was just like, I'm pushing it too far. Like, I'm gonna get an X card any moment there. But we got through the whole scene, and then when we went to break, I was like, "Are you good?" And she was like, "That was horrifying. You did it. You were amazing." And it was only because we were able to, like, be very overt and, like, these are the things we want to talk about. We want to talk about, like, the shitty, scary, awful parts of life, and the fact that being a kid doesn't save you from them. And I'm really, really grateful that I had a group that I could do that with.
No, that's impressive. Like I said,
it ruled. It was the best. I'm so tired, but it was amazing.
Well, we were talking about earlier, and this might be something, because some of the things you just spoke about are things that we are going to be hitting in a secret project coming up here the next month.
Secret project.
October. So after this show, I would like to reach out to you and see if it's something you would be interested in joining us on, because these are those types of conversations that we would have.
Yeah.
It'd be a good opportunity.
Yeah, let's talk.
So
I love talking about the weird shit.
Oh, this will hit that, and then
I've done so much therapy. Let's talk about the weird shit. Let's go.
You want that itch? It will scratch it.
It'll scratch it, yeah. But it'll also help us as we get ready for this one, because one of the main things we're running into with this project is how do we make sure that enough of the safety is built into this before we start the project, and more so when us streaming it, how do we protect the audience? Because, like I said, it's not it's not for every person. Like, I'm gonna throw that out there right now. It's not gonna be in every person wants to come watch this. I recommend we're definitely gonna be putting it on late at night, and it's gonna have a rating on it that states no children, because it is definitely dark.
Yeah.
So
well, and when I was originally conceiving Tender Hollow, I thought of it as like being two different shows, where the fantasy fairy tale show was geared towards kids. And I was very quickly disabused of that idea. Because I was like, oh, wait, no, that's deeply irresponsible. We're not going to do that. And so I kind of had to stumble my way through that as like, no.
Oh, no.
Kind of... Frozen.
There you go. You're back.
Hey. What was the last thing you heard me say?
You said no, and then it...
No, we got it all.
Oh, mostly just like I had to overtly come to the realization that I make content for parents, not for children. And that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. And that's a different style of writing in everything.
And I am an educator. I work with kids in my daily life, and it's so interesting to me the way people are unwilling or unable to accept or leave space for the fact that teachers, parents, whatever, are still also like adults with lives outside of being around children. I know, wild, right?
Yeah. You are a parent only, and that's all you get to be is what the child.
It's bonkers the way people are like, no, you can't have like a sexuality, you can't have adult interests, you can't drink, smoke, do drugs, blah blah blah, you can't do any of this stuff because you are a parent. And it's like, my sibling and Satan. Parents are just people, like, it's okay. And so one of the things I really want to normalize and push forward as part of my brand is that, like, anybody can be a parent. Not everybody should be a parent. And that's not a dig. That's just a, like, you're allowed to say no, and you should say no. Yeah, no, it's just a fact. Like, some people suck at it, but also some people are just like, no, thank you, that's not for me. And I love and support those people. Like, so funny to me that people think, and I held that would make me like aggressively pro-life, and I'm like, oh fuck no. Pregnancy was a literal horror show, and if you aren't like 100% actively choosing this, you shouldn't do it. Nobody should be forced to go through that unless they absolutely want to.
Absolutely. And
sorry, that was me on my soapbox. I'll get down now.
Nope, you're good. The show is all about that. It is about the showcasing our guest, and sometimes it comes to, you know, questions and things that you
I have feelings.
Really have.
Sometimes
you got to show the feelings, right? Because it's part of it. And for me, sometimes I feel bad for people like that, though, because a lot of times the ones that are like, I don't really want kids, they're probably some of the better people that would be parents, which is scary.
Oh yeah. Well, no, that's fully a conversation. My two best friends from college, when I had my child, came down. It was the two of them and one of their moms. Loved my kiddo. But we had a conversation where we were talking about like how people come to the decision to pursue parenthood. And I looked both of them in the eye. One of them is fully like a secondary education, like has a master's in secondary education. Mm-hmm. And I looked both of them in the eye and I was like, either or both of you would be incredible parents. You would be attentive, you would be caring, you would be open-minded. You would be great parents. That doesn't mean that is something you should have to do. And they're both child-free and very happy. And I love and support them. And they're wonderful aunties to my child. But like, being a parent was not right for either of them. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think what is a bad thing is that has become like a standard that's the goal that everyone should be working towards. And that's, fuck that. Like, especially in a society that is so actively hostile towards children, absolutely fuck that.
Yeah. Not to mention, the issues right now with, job issues and things like that. Children ain't cheap.
No, they're not. I am extremely fortunate. My in-laws, my spouse's parents take our kid almost every Friday overnight. And the Friday nights they don't, my brother-in-law will take my child, just so we get a break. Like
Yeah.
we have, we are in a comfortably middle class income bracket. We live in a nice neighborhood. We have familial support. We live near a really active children's hospital system for healthcare. Like we're very, very fortunate. I have still struggled immensely at points. I don't know how people who don't have the privileges that I have are doing it.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And it pisses me off. And it's part of why I went back to school for social work, because I would like to make it everyone's problem that
Absolutely.
this is.
And it
There
needs
you
to
go.
be everybody's problem, especially children.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Like friends, we were all children once. It's one of the few things we all have in common.
yep. It's one of the things some of us haven't lost.
Yes.
So, but I really agree with you on the fact that you were talking about is that, people are people, not just parents. And it's something that it took me a while to learn, because until I met people like Chuck and his family, I didn't really have that. I had a lot of people that were like, oh no, you're a dad first, that's all you are, and there's no other option. And then it became this thing where I could pick back up things that I enjoyed doing and have fun, and then finding people that do it as well with their kids. We have a crew now that come over and play games. Like, it's
That's
not
wonderful.
just, and they all play together now because our kids are of that age. But if they weren't, the kids would go play, parents would sit around and actually, be conversing.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that definitely has been lost over the last
Oh yes.
while.
Like that's the village, right? It takes a village to raise a child. Like that's exactly what we're talking about. And so many people don't have that anymore. And
I'm lucky we found ours, because I don't
yes.
live anywhere near home.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
Yeah, neither
It's
do
hard.
you. Both of us left after. I mean, I was military for 10 years, so I all over. And you talk about a village mentality. You don't have an option. You don't. Home was Ohio for 25 or 22 years. And then,
Hey, what's up, Ohio?
yeah, right. I heard it because you're like, oh, it's my home convention. And I was like, hold on. Now I got to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Southern or northern Ohio?
Northeast.
Okay, closer.
Yeah. So like Cleveland, Ashtabula, Akron, Youngstown area.
Oh, okay. Where at?
Akron.
Akron. My stepbrother lived in Akron.
Amazing.
Yeah, I lived in Salem,
Okay.
so you're only
Yeah.
about 40 minutes, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not far.
Small town,
Yeah.
small world.
Truly. Truly. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, and I could not wait to fucking leave.
That's what I said about Mississippi.
Went so far.
Yeah. Billy made the comment though, and it is the truth. That's why more astronauts come from Ohio, because everybody wants to get off the planet in order to get out of there.
Yeah, there's something about it. That is how I introduced myself at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Was I'm from Ohio. We are the state that makes everyone want to leave the planet.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're also We're also one of the top 3 in the military. So as well, people that have left. So
Yeah,
What
that
happens?
doesn't surprise me.
we all run. But yeah. Let's see here. So going
We're
forward,
officially in happy hour.
we are eventually in happy hour. We're 1 minute over on happy hour. So we're gonna change. Gonna get a little bit more of a hyper music. Let's see what kind of music we can come up with for this one.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna shift up the music a little bit, because the music's all kind of chill.
No. All right.
So
Well, in the meantime, we do have a bunch of questions from Billy.
we have a bunch of questions. from
Thanks,
Billy.
Billy.
So let's start with how much Savage Worlds have you played?
0. Not a bit.
I've played 2 games.
Yeah.
Big old.
Yeah. We have a friend of ours out in Colorado. We go to a small convention out there or I go to a small convention out there in February. He ran me a Nazis Invade Mars convention or Savage Worlds game, and it was so much fun.
That's so funny.
Billy.
And then we have our the company I write with called Gooey Cube out in Colorado.
Yeah, I know Gooey Cube.
So that's their home convention is Genghis Khan out in Colorado, and one of their members wrote a side off of Within the World of Gooey Cube, but it was done with the Savage Worlds, and we got to play it that way too, which was a lot of fun.
Okay.
So
I've heard a lot of good things. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Savage Worlds. If you like weird Nazi games, have you played Eat the Reich yet?
I haven't, but I know somebody who has it, Sam, and we need to try that at least once, even if it's offline. I don't care. I just want to.
Yeah, no, I someone told me about it, and I immediately went and bought it because I was like, vampires eating Nazis, 10 out of 10. One of my very favorite video games ever was called The Saboteur. And it is about an Irish auto mechanic in Nazi-occupied Paris.
Yeah, I know that
murdering
game.
Nazis. I love that game. Yeah. No one knows that game. I fucking love it. I'm obsessed.
I never played it, but I know of it. And
Oh, it's my favorite.
I know about the brothel download as well.
Yeah! My mom bought that for me, not knowing what it was. I was 14.
Still a person, not just a parent, because we don't know what we're doing half the time anyways.
It's fine.
All right, so, yeah, yay, Mom. That's what Billy says. Yay, Mom.
Scroll back up.
Second question. What is your number one favorite convention moment, board game or TTRPG convention?
Oh, wow.
That's for anybody, that's a hard one if they've gone to more than two.
That is hard. Number one favorite convention moment, board game or TTRPG. They're all so different, but I do have to say this year, Gen Con. Because it was my second year running for Monte Cook Games. Showed up on Wednesday. I was able to get into town early and do some stuff for Trade Day, which I'd never done before. And got some really interesting perspectives, got to learn a bunch of things, got to network with a bunch of people. And then on my way to check into my hotel, I stopped at the Monte Cook Games room while they were setting up. And just the feeling of homecoming, walking into that room and Tammy Ryan and Kate Evans seeing me and coming over and hugging me and going, "Oh, Kat, it's so good to see you," and just that familial feeling of oh, I'm home now, is something that was really important to me. And I probably would not have experienced if my father had not passed away a year prior and I had not said, I need to get out of this house and do something weird, and signed up to jam a bunch of games for that Gen Con. And so it was just kind of the confirmation of sometimes things just work out the way they were meant to. Was really nice. Also, we got to run the Magnus Archives for the first time, and it was super fun. I think I ran it 6 times. I had 6 tables of really phenomenal players, and getting to scare the shit out of them with an NPC that they could not kill was really fun.
Sounds like fun. What about you, Chuck?
I mean, I've only got one convention I've been to.
I mean, unless one TTRPG convention, but you've been to other conventions. What is a moment, because you've had other conventions, what is a moment that is just it's stuck with you the entire time?
Oh God, I gotta go with being able to do one of those small meet and greet sessions. It was with Jason David Frank, the original Green Ranger. My childhood hero.
I love that.
And then that's how I ended up like training under him for like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it was
how
great.
was that?
It's fucking awesome. I got to know him, his wife, his daughter, his Jenna, whenever she was like 8. So, yeah, when all that stuff went down, that hit our family really hard.
Yeah.
It was rough. I feel like rough for a lot of people.
But it's a big moment for me.
But yeah.
Yeah. Whoever said don't meet your heroes probably had shitty heroes.
Yeah.
You just gotta hope that your hero in person is the same as your hero that you're seeing them on screen. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
I think mine, after just hearing both of these, though, I think mine is. I was gonna say a couple other ones, but this one I think was what hit the hardest. Was year one at Gen Con. I had just signed up, similar to you. I signed up for GUI Cube. Now I had been writing with them and speaking to a lot of them online because of COVID, and that's how I actually got connected with GUI Cube. But to actually meet so many people that you've been writing with and creating with for 2+ years in person all at once was a surreal moment.
Yeah.
And like you said, you kind of go to the home, right? Like we had a GUI Cube room, so you set up all the rooms and you got all the stuff, all the posters up and everything else. And yeah, Gen Con, first year of Gen Con is probably still my favorite moment. Not to mention, I was only supposed to run like 2 games, but half of the GUI Cube like booth team got COVID that year.
Oh no.
So I went from running 12 hours worth of gaming to running almost 40 hours worth of gaming in 4 days because half of our team was gone, and they were like, we just need bodies, like we need somebody to run these.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell somebody no, so I just did it.
Same. Yeah.
And yeah, those were definitely moments that I don't think I'll ever forget. But yeah, since I play a lot of Shattered, all my heroes are anti-heroes.
10 out of 10.
That's it.
All right, so this is a really good one to hear, and I'm curious as well. What are some safety tools that you use because you work so well with kids that focuses on kids?
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no worries. That's fine. So I'm a big fan of the Monte Cook Games consent and gaming checklist. Not super geared towards kids. I think when you are running kids games, the topics tend to be a lot more benign, a lot more fantastical, and a little less based in realism. Like, I'm not going to run the Magnus Archives for a 10-year-old. I'm just not. My nieces and nephews got mad at me because we talked about running a family game of Curse of Strahd. And I was like, anybody under 16 is a hard no, just because I'm not gonna, like, I'm extremely liberal and open about what I will discuss with a child, but I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and traumatize you either. Like,
Curse of Strahd's not a, like, there's a lot of really jacked up things in that book.
Yeah.
For those that have never read it.
It's a lot. And like, even as someone who like can deal with a lot, I think, because like I said, I've done so much therapy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, we have a duty and a responsibility to be like stewards of the people around our table. And so a common like line for a lot of people is harm to children.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was running Tender Hollow, like, harm to children was kind of baked into the plot, right? These are kids at a grief summer camp who have lost someone dear to them. And like harm to children doesn't just mean physical harm, right?
Mm.
Like it means emotional trauma. And so like we really had to have a discussion about like, hey, here's what this is going to look like, because I gave them absolute free reign on their backstories. Like, who did you lose? How did they die? Like, what happened? And one of the characters, their whole theme was like guilt. Like, they felt like it was their little brother, and they felt like they should have been able to save him. And so there were multiple scenes that we dip into this character talking to little brother, and little brother saying, "You let this happen." Like,
Oh.
yeah, and it got dark, right? So that was something that was explicitly discussed beforehand of like, is this okay if this subject comes up? And I got the okay of like, yeah, let's go, like let's lean into it. And we did. And it was, I had to make sure as the GM that we were going for something that was relevant to the story and was ultimately going to lead to a catharsis. We weren't just traumatizing this child for fun.
Right.
Another girl who had a lot of trauma around drowning, water, things like that. There was a point where she got trapped in a stream and like had a flashback to her siblings drowning and her being almost drowned. And again, it had to serve the story. It had to move her forward emotionally. And it wasn't just torturing this character. Like it meant something. But again, it was something that I messaged the player and was like, hey, are you okay with this? And it wasn't, that makes it sound like everybody was just cool with everything. There were absolutely things we had to dance around. So in the lore of the Magnus Archives, one of the major players is the Web, who is known as the mother of puppets, or she's often portrayed as a spider. And one of my players has a deep, deep fear of spiders. And so I had to be like, hey, buddy, there's going to be some spider shit here. So like, just prepare yourself. But also I had to work around that and really lean into like the puppetry aspect over the spider web aspect, which like did create some challenges for me, but ultimately led me towards something that I think worked better and was more interesting than just going with the standard lore of her being a spider.
More of like the marionette type
yes
characters.
Yeah. And it was really fun to play with, and to kind of find those places where I could push a little bit, and then those places where I had to kind of pad out and skim over some things. And it's a constant back and forth of like, are you okay? Was this too far? Like, and I think we struck a good balance, but it was, we absolutely had like cool downs. Like we would sign out of the stream, whatever, and then we would spend another 30 minutes on the call, like talking it out. Like, hey, how was this? Like, how did you feel when this? Are you cool? Like, I saw you get really upset during this moment. Like, do you need to talk through that? And just like making sure you're leaving space. And so that sort of leads me into my whole thing. So part of the reason I'm pursuing a social work degree is because I took a special interest in therapeutic game mastering. And I think that TTRPGs and games media in general are a massively underutilized method for starting those difficult conversations with young people. And so if there's a topic you want to discuss with a kid in your life, you can present it in a game, and then after the fact be like, why do you think this person did this? Like, what are your thoughts on what just happened? So it doesn't have to be like an example from real life. You can have those conversations in a way that is safe and a step removed. Because I think a lot of kids feel more comfortable having like that theoretical discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that's something that really hits home with them, can lead them to be like, well, this thing happened, or I've been thinking about this. And like just finding, excuse me, like the tools to make space and like show I'm not just a parent, I'm a person, and like I have been through things too, and like we can have these conversations and it doesn't have to be shameful or uncomfortable. We can just share these ideas in a non-threatening, non-dangerous way. Because I think something that a lot of us forget from being young, from being kids, is that power imbalance of like, if I say the wrong thing, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get grounded. My parents are gonna think less of me. Like I'm gonna get sent to therapy or whatever. Like, and so just being able to give them a safer space to express and explore some of that is, I think, the easiest thing in the world. And I say this as someone who like GMs a lot, and so that for me is not a barrier. But
Right.
You know, you see what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have like I said, we have multiple kids at our table right now, and some of them are very vocal, and then some of them are not very vocal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of asking those very small questions, or one of them we're trying to get is they'll ask the question, but they won't ask the question to a character. They'll just ask the question out loud.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you have to talk to the character. Like, oh, so they're trying to put that personality to that person to say that that's who you're talking to. And it's been working out well. It's trying to get that change in mindset, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Dungeon Samster says, and I think I got all. Billy, if I missed any questions, please repost the question. But I think I got all your questions. Dungeon Samster said, is there an example of a controversial game master decision you've had to make, like setting a player argument where one person might not be happy about the outcome? If so, how'd you go about it?
Yeah, 100%. So again, in Tender Hollow, in the Cypher system, GMs use something called intrusions, which is where you introduce a twist to the story, and the players get experience points for it that they can use to level up their character. But they can also introduce player intrusions where they pay an XP to introduce their own twist. And so the further we got into Tender Hollow, the more player intrusions were coming up. You know, we were all learning the Cypher system together. And in the final episode, one of my players special requested a less than happy ending for themselves. And I was like, I'm so on board. Let's go. And so we were enacting this moment, and their counterpart was not happy and kept trying to offer player intrusions to try to save this character.
Oh, wow.
And I had to keep saying no, because you can decline player intrusions.
Yeah.
And this player wasn't happy about it. Like, they didn't kick up a fuss, but they weren't pleased. And they kept asking me, like, you know, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Because they wanted so badly to help. And I finally offered them a game master intrusion where I was like, you can't stop this, but you can go with them. Like, you can participate in this. And so in that way, allow it to be your sort of happy ending, which I believe they did do. But it's It's hard because it is a game, but also once you get deep enough into these campaigns, these characters are not just words on a page. They are deeply ingrained parts of us, and we care deeply about them. And so I am someone who is always here for the drama. Like my characters will take all the smoke, like let's go. But I understand that that's not for everybody. And so it is a delicate balance of like consequences are real, bad outcomes are always a possibility. How do we make this a resolution that is satisfying for everyone, even if it's not what everyone originally wanted? And so that was the negotiation of like, no, I'm not going to take your player intrusion to prevent this thing from happening, but I will allow you to participate in it, so that your counterpart is not alone. And that ended up being the sort of compromise on it.
Yeah.
Which
So-
again led to a really lovely end of this
that character story.
Yeah.
So when you say counterpart, because I think I'm trying to follow, is that so you were running Magnus Archives and the other one at the same time?
Yeah.
So you had a investigator and then a child that were kind of connected.
So no, so this
Okay.
was two of the investigators. At this
okay.
point in the story, they had met up. The investigators had found the kids, and they needed to defeat the BBEG to to destroy the problem and get everybody back home. And in order to do that, one of the investigators essentially sacrifices themselves. And they had recently confessed their love for another one of the characters who absolutely reciprocated. And it was so challenging because I hate the barrier gaze trope. I hate it.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely adamant that I was not going to kill anyone, kill any of the gays, unless everybody died, in which case it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But this player was like, listen, I think just with the trajectory of this and how I know this character is, like, I don't know that a happy ending is the right way to go. And I was very happy to go with that because there was absolutely, listen, the Magnus Archives is all about paranormal fear entities. You don't gotta die to not exist anymore. But so it was really nice to kind of give that player that unhappy happy ending, where they still got to have their partner with them. And then there's another lesbian couple that lives happily ever after, and it's fine.
It's fine. We're good. That's interesting, and I like how the cipher system builds that. I might steal that.
It's fun.
That might be part of we've started adding things to our Shadow Dark game, and that would be a fun.
Oh, you're Frankensteining.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that might be something we'll add to what we call the weave, which allows them to pretty much do. We use it based off of story points, which is something that Renegade Games does, but I like that way, which allows you to interfere, not just mechanically, but story-wise. You can interfere with the story.
Yeah. And that's very fun.
And that does sound like fun, especially with our group, because our group is chaos anyways, which is great. But because a lot of the game is written by random generators too, is how we play. So because Shadow Dark is a giant dungeon crawl based off of like first and like AD&D, so a lot of the stuff we create just right off the fly, and then we roll with it and come up with a story as we go. But it's also a very grim game. Like the party started with like 4 HP, so
that's fine. What could go wrong?
And a skeleton can hit you for 6 at the beginning of the game, so it's like immediately.
Yeah.
Which comes to my next question then is, and it sounds like you kind of have figured out, at least that with those two, how do you deal with the idea of a demise for a character?
I mean, players should know going in whether or not it's on the table. And I told my players, the kids table, I was like, technically it's possible. It's going to be real hard for any of you to die. For the adult, the Magnus table, I was like, good luck. Because I was like, there have to be stakes,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And not every table needs death to be an option for there to be stakes. But in this particular moment where these adults are parsing how to protect these children from the big bad wild world, I was like, that for them, that has to be the stakes, right? So it wasn't even, right? The kids
Had immunity to a point.
a little bit. They had a little bit of plot armor.
Yeah. You're not gonna kill a child. I couldn't do it. Couldn't just kill a child off in a game.
Now, I technically did kill a child, but it wasn't any of the PCs. And it's fine.
It was a flashback.
It's flashback.
Yeah, exactly. I killed multiple children, actually. Now that I think about it, it's fine.
Hold on, it's okay.
Wait. No, but it again, I love the drama. I'm here for all the smoke. I think that sometimes death is the resolution, right? You have the heroic sacrifice. You have the succumbing to hopelessness. You have, the last gasp of evil's plan taking out one of the heroes, right? Like, it's in some settings, it's going to be an inevitability. And with the right set of players, it's incredibly cathartic and satisfying. With the wrong set of players, it is traumatizing and a recipe for an unfinished campaign. So just knowing what you and your players can handle matters. And it's the most important thing of being like very upfront from the beginning of like, death is on the table, permanent scarring is on the table, and if that's not for you, this is maybe not the campaign for you. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think people are so afraid of like scaring off players or scaring people, but it's like, no, like negotiate what you want to get out of this interaction and like be honest about it. Everyone will be happier at the end.
Yeah.
No, I like it. Last question for the night, because we're already past happy hour technically, but we're going to finish up our questions because that's what we do here.
Yeah.
Would you consider running an all bad guy story, and how would you go about not having everyone be inherently evil?
Oh, baby, that's easy. Most bad guys don't think they're bad.
Truth.
Bingo.
Like they absolutely. How much would your players have to Venmo you for an instant level up? I'm cheap, like $20. No, but like most evil or bad guy, they don't think they're evil.
If you're playing a bad guy and he thinks he's evil, he's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy, exactly. I was an acting and improv teacher for forever, and I've played evil characters, and like they don't think they're wrong. They think they're justified. So really making sure that the players, as they're building their characters, like have a justification, have a like, this is why I am the way I am. Nobody is like, with very few exceptions, nobody is just purely evil, right? Like there's a story there, there's lore, there's an explanation. It may not be a good reason, but it's a reason. And so making sure that as you're building your characters, just knowing the why and what are you hoping to get out of behaving like this? What are you hoping of? What effect are you hoping for? Prevents just like, we're going to walk into this village and slaughter all of the women and children. Like, listen, if you want to do our murder hobo campaign, I love and support you, but
not my table.
yeah, right. Like do what you're gonna do. Just make sure everybody's on board with that. But like that's not going to be the motivation for most evil parties. Like they're going to have a goal, right?
Right.
And going in and looting and pillaging all of it can move forward. And if it does, then that's probably a pretty fucking boring campaign. So that part is on the game master, is making sure that the carrot is still there of like, this is what you got to do. And sometimes to get places, you got to play by the rules. But there's absolutely a way. I think Dimension 20's Escape from the Bloodkeep is a great example of this. Like they were all evil characters, evil, but they had justifications. They knew why they were the way they were, right? And it ended up being a brilliant, honestly, one of my favorite side quest seasons.
It's a good season.
Yeah, but like being an all bad guy table can be very fun if you are doing it to explore like, what if my motivations were shitty? What if I let all the trauma turn me into a bad person and not just like, I'm gonna cause chaos for the fuck of it? Like, again, you can do that if you want to, but like that's a one shot. That's not a campaign.
We did one of my first ever professional gaming that I did when I was just starting. Was with a group, and their only request was, can we all play evil characters? I said, you can play evil, you can't play stupid. That's all I'm asking. And not every character you come up against is going to be a level 1 villager that you're just going to be able to slaughter. And we did this by flipping the Tomb of Annihilation on its head. So we took Tomb of Annihilation and we incited that instead of going to a Acererak's tomb to destroy the Spellbind, they were going to consume it and become the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And
I like that.
I warned them and I said, here's the plan. I said, you have to show me you can be evil without being dumb. 6 sessions in, they finally first showed me the trueness of their characters. We did the whole Camp Nyanzaru, which is the little market district. They went in and they had fun doing the dino races. They met up with one of the princes. They were able to get some information on where the tomb was, and then they entered into the jungle. They ran into one of the encampments of soldiers that are in one of the like forward motion areas that was being attacked by zombies, or the undead within Cholt. One of their soldiers was left. They said, hey, can you draw it down on the map where we know where the rest of these are, so as we're traveling, we're good? So the soldier wrote it all down, and then they backstabbed him. He was the only other player left, or only other NPC left, and I was like, oh, now we're starting to now we're good.
We got there.
Yeah, and we got there. But like you said, everybody had a motive.
Yeah.
One was a drowned necromancer who watched his family get killed and was doing it to raise an army to go back home to take over his homeland. One did kind of this weird Naruto Itachi thing where he was serving a self-wanting tree that would slowly make him kill bigger and bigger things until he had to kill his best friend, and then he was going to take care of that. We had one that was literally a zealot of Bane, so it was like all these characters had their motivators, but like you said, none of them really thought they just thought they needed more power. They never really thought they were doing anything evil. And it lasted almost 2 years. And that thing was crazy.
Honestly, that rules. And like I would say the same thing for a campaign of like good or neutral characters as well. Like nobody is purely good and nobody is purely evil. Like evil characters are going to have moments of softness, and good characters are going to have moments of weakness. And that's what makes it interesting. I am not one of these players or GMs who like wants to make a Mary Sue. Like, I'm the perfect paladin. Like give me a flawed character who like makes choices. Like my favorite character ever is a himbo bard with a heart of gold and the brain of a canary. No thoughts, just vibes. Tries so hard to do the good thing, but fucks it up a lot. That give me that chef's kiss. I love that motherfucker all the time, every time.
Well, Kat, it's been a blast having you on the show tonight.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
For those that came and hung out with us, thank you for coming and joining us. The questions were amazing. Please come back next week and bring more questions. This is what we actually created this entire show for, was to allow you to ask questions to the guests. We're super excited that this one was one of those active class sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, thank you for some insight on how to play for with children, like playing when you've got children at the table and things like that. Any last things from you, Chuck?
No, you kind of hit the nail on the head, my man. God, it was great.
Yeah, it was a great chat.
Thank you very much for having me.
Any last things you would like to say to the audience or to the channel itself?
Just my friends, play games, be good to each other. We live in a weird fucking time loop right now of a terrifying news cycle and just people being shitty to each other everywhere and anywhere, and be the change you want to see in the world. If you are a parent or need a parent, reach out to me. I'm Kat the Dungeon Mom everywhere around the internet, and I just hope you have a good night.
Awesome. And last but not least, our channel goes active starting tonight. Every 2 weeks we go active. So tomorrow night, Chuck's out there building. Are you building or painting tomorrow?
Painting
minis tomorrow night on
poorly painting minis.
Beaker's Garage. Sunday we come to episode 6 of Power Rangers. We're wrapping up quick, which is crazy.
Go Power Rangers.
Monday I should be back, but I'm not. Sadly, work has decided that they want to send me somewhere else. But we do have a one-shot coming on for Dress to Quest that is being ran by our very own Sam. It seems to be Wild West Bake Off.
Hell yeah!
I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm gonna definitely here for it.
That sounds amazing.
And then we're back here in the tavern on Wednesday with another guest. I'm trying to pull it up fast enough, and it's just not loading to tell me who it's gonna be. So keep an eye on all the social medias and all the socials, and we'll pick that up from there. Real quick, our sponsors. Let's shout those out real fast. Monument Studios, all the cool music that you're hearing in the background. If you love dice, go check out Canadian Dice for 15% off. Use Misfit15. And then our current apparel company is Dungeon Grandmaster. So if you want to have a Misfit shirt or Beaker Build shirt. And last but not least, Beaker, what else do we got for our new sponsors?
What?
We are now affiliates.
Oh, that's right. See, I'm so horrible at this. Yeah, no, we are affiliates with Renegade Games. So, that being said, if you want to play, you want to get a copy of any of the Power Rangers books, any of the World of Darkness books, check that link in the chat. That is our affiliate link. So anything you purchase using that link, we get a portion of, comes back to the Misfits, helps us out a lot.
Keeps the lights on, keeps the subscriptions, for things that we need, and it's a huge help.
It is.
And last but not least, thank you to our new subscribers and followers. That you don't understand how much that means to us. It's a huge deal, and we love each and every one of you. Make sure if you're not a part of the Discord, come in and hang out with us. We're always active there, and we're telling stories left and right. Until then, everybody, raise your glasses. It's been crazy for me, so my glass is not here tonight. This is Last Call. We will see you guys next week on Tavern Talks, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Stick around before so we can raid some friends.
Raid!